Welcome back to Let's Try Roleplay.
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 This is it!
Pot fly.
Papa!
This is episode 9 of Prepare.
My Pokemon Academia.
My Pokemon Academia.
My Pokemon Academia.
My Pokemon Academia.
Pokemon Academia.
I'm Henry, and I'm playing Oliver Richmond III and his little friend Ainsley the Routes, with his friend Ainsley the Curlier, his friend Ainsley the Gallade. I'm Henry, and I'll be playing Ainsley, who's pulling the strings on Oliver Richmond III.
I'm Robin, and I'll be playing yeah?
Yes.
Yes. I'm Robin, and I'll be playing Nat Embers with her friend Indy the Growlithe. Her big fluffy friend, Indy the Arcanine.
I'm James, and I'll be playing Kyle Carp with his friend Pebble the Aran. With his friend Pebble the Lairon. His wall of a friend Pebble the Agron. I don't take damage.
I'm Connor. I'm Connor, your Pokemon master. That got me. I'm Connor, your Pokemon master. Welcome to Let's Try Roleplay.
Under the covers.
So yeah, we just finished the Pokemon campaign and we wanted to talk about it for a little
Finally.
bit. Yeah, so first thing to say about this, we've been recording this for
A year.
a year and a half.
It feels like 6.
Be a year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, because we decided to do a really fucked up way of recording.
We recorded it in real time. So every time the characters had to travel somewhere, we took large breaks to account for that time.
Accurate. Yeah.
I think because we started we started recording it summer of last year.
Wouldn't have been
We
September?
started recording that just after Doctor Strange came out.
We did.
Oh, that's well
When
remembered.
Because
did
the first test recording we ever did was an unreleased, deleted recording of some D&D thing that we did immediately after Doctor Strange.
Was that
We went to
November?
watch it. Yeah, we went to
November?
watch it.
Yeah, that's a
And
long
then we
time
recorded
ago.
that.
November-ish time? Like,
Yeah.
What was in that?
November 26th.
Oh, that was before
16?
everything happened. That was the bit where you were strippers for bugbears.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, damn,
Oh,
that was good.
Yeah, we
Did
just-
I record that?
Yeah, we recorded a
we
random
recorded
piece
it.
of...
Have I got a recording of that somewhere?
No, we fucking purged that
I
sheet.
think I've
That
got
was
that. But I mean,
good,
you're never
though.
going to let us listen to it. No, we have
Subscribe
that.
to our Patreon.
You know,
That is
we have a
£200 a month. You get access to that.
actually,
shit.
now I'm thinking about it, I might have a copy of it because I used to practice editing on it.
But yeah, we did that after Doctor Strange. We watched Doctor Strange, came home at like midnight or something, and then
Yeah.
recorded something. And then a couple of weeks after, we decided to start actually recording the podcast. And we thought what we should do is start with the third thing we want to release.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, because we recorded Pokemon was the first thing that we recorded.
And then we tried to do week of Pokemon, week of D&D, week of
that
Pokemon,
was-
week of
that
D&D,
was
and we
good.
gave up on that very quickly because no one knew what was going on.
And then but at some point we were doing half an evening of Pokemon and half an evening of D&D,
fucking
and we kept doing
no.
like D&D at the end of the day. At like
And
we'd
it
start
sucked.
at like 11 o'clock, and we were
Yeah.
so tired, and we had no idea what was going on. So
Yeah.
that was a mistake.
And then for some reason we decided, okay, let's just do Pokemon for a while. For some reason.
No, we changed to just doing.
Yeah, we
D&D,
finished
didn't we?
Pokemon because we were further into Pokemon at the time. So I think we finished Pokemon up to the end of the story,
Yeah.
and then we continued with D&D.
Yeah.
Because it's not been that long since we finished D&D. And then we finished D&D, and then we went back and recorded the Elite Four stuff,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
has taken a while because of our other commitments.
Because we recorded sort of the big finale of Pokemon we recorded when we were on holiday. And that was good because we had like 3 or 4 nights in a row where we sat and recorded it.
We went on holiday with our mic set up. We recorded it.
And those will
On
be the
the
episodes
beach.
where you can just hear seagulls in the background.
Not actually on the beach, but close enough.
Practically. There was
Yeah.
like maybe 10 meters.
So is there anything else
But
to
if
say
you
about
want to
how...
join us on the next LTRP
Road trip.
So we recorded it in a messed up way, and that might have come through a little bit in how it sounded. And we'd not actually listened back to the first recordings, so hopefully they don't sound too bad.
I feel like that in Pokemon, I was aided a little bit by the fact that I knew the way the Pokemon games are supposed to work. So the fact that we had a gym structure helped me figure out what we were actually doing.
Yes.
But I still didn't really know what was going on with the story in the background a lot of the time. And then I feel like in D&D, the first half of it, I had no fucking idea what was going on and why we were doing what we were doing. I was just rolling with it, which is what everything does. But then I think the second half of it, I understood it a lot better once we split them.
Yeah.
Pokemon, I think, by the finale, I think I knew what was going on.
Question. Can you remind me of the story? Because I know none of it.
Okay, we'll do that. So, I
remember
initially
everything after the Elite Four.
Yeah. Okay. No, we can. I can do that. Initially, what thoughts about Pokemon? Like very vague thoughts.
I really enjoyed it.
I had a lot of fun.
Story was fantastic. Game system. That's a whole other kettle
So
of
we want to
fish.
get into that now.
Oh, we'll show you that. No, we will keep that kettle of fish to unleash later on.
We don't like it.
But yes, we don't like the game system used. But anyway,
It's good. No, to be fair, when we found it, we were ecstatic.
yeah.
We'll go into this. We can't just shit on it. It has its good sides.
All the stats, all
Also,
the Pokemon stuff's really interesting.
I'd
all the
say
stats and stuff.
if you were playing just a Pokemon game, great. It probably works really, really well. Recording-wise, it is an absolute cunt. It just... it's so difficult to make it compatible for someone to listen to afterwards.
Well,
I don't have anything to say. No.
I really loved doing it. I really enjoyed writing it. The story does make sense. I think the problem is that we just played so infrequently that we forgot what happened last time, and so it's so fragmented. Hopefully, when I go through the entire story, you'll be like, ah, shit, okay, it all makes sense now.
I think we had a lot of fun with it as well. It's like, I enjoyed playing a character that had no backstory. Apart from, like, this very simple, he hates his dad.
Yeah, I know. I think it was my first ever time DMing, or GMing, or PMing, whatever we decided to settle with. And that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I felt like I learned a lot going through it. I felt like I was a pretty shit GM at the start and kind of got...
I think that's... I think you've been pretty good. I think, like all of us, I think, because this is one of the first things we recorded, that our learning curve for trying to make a podcast has definitely happened within this series more than others.
Yeah.
But I think that, I don't know, I think maybe we're a bit rough and ready around the edges.
Yeah.
It's also really, really weird that we had, you'll be able to listen throughout this entire season and hear all of our mic setup changes.
Yeah.
Because we started off with the shittest mic setup we've ever had, and then we moved on to what we thought was okay, and then we moved on to at the Elite Four or something. I think
what we've got now. Yeah,
we've got what we have now, which is a mic per person instead of 1 for 4.
True. Yeah, that's gonna be really weird to hear. But
Well, I don't know. It's just we'll put alerts into the episodes to say like, "Hey, the mic checkup just changed. Can you guess what we're using?"
yeah, so I'm gonna... Originally, I had written out like a synopsis of bits of the campaign, and I got about halfway through, and I'd written so much that I thought...
It was just a podcasting episode into itself.
Yeah, exactly. I'd just written so much, and so much was going on, so I felt like I might be able to cut it down a little bit if I just go straight off the bat and just speak.
Yeah, do it.
So, have you guys got bits of paper and stuff that you want to jot stuff down on if you want to ask any questions, or just put a wee note on your phone? Something like that.
I'll note on my phone.
Phone.
Cool.
Your phone.
I knew I had my laptop in front of me for some reason.
Ayy.
Right. Okay, let's see how this goes. I'm going to try and talk through the campaign and what happened. Right. So, you guys started in the Assembly Hall of Trainer City Academy.
Remember that.
Good so far. Professor Alder.
Who's he?
Professor Alder was the deputy head of Trainer City Academy. He was giving you a little speech about this is what the academy is, blah blah blah, you are new trainers, blah blah blah. You guys met each other, you saw the stained glass around the walls and stuff.
How did we meet each other?
You just met each other in the assembly hall.
Were we sitting beside each other?
Being the only episode of this podcast I've ever edited, this one, I remember basically, I'm pretty sure the way we met was I went, "Hi, what's your name?" And you were just like,
I remember you trying to introduce yourself to absolutely everyone and me having to be like, "No, you're sitting next to an aisle,"
I was
so
just
that
like,
you would
I
stop.
turned to the person on the other side of me, and you were just like, "There's an aisle there." And I was just like, I turned to the person on the other side of Kyle, and you're like, "There's an aisle there too." And I'm like, "So we're just in like rows of 3?" And you're like, "Yes, you are now."
Deal with it.
So Professor Alder sort of described a little bit of what Trainer City Academy is and whatnot. And then you guys went on a tour. Professor Alder took you on your tour, and you went through the library. Which was...
Yeah, and then we
was
went to
great.
the library, and then we went to the science room.
You went to the
was also
lab.
great.
I remember we learned something about the Mew machine there.
Yeah. So you saw that they had this big machine, which was this genome analyzer. They were doing research into Mew's genome because Mew's genome can reproduce every other Pokemon. It's like the sort of like the master copy of the entire Pokemon genome, and any Pokemon, by turning off certain genes, you can make other Pokemon.
Mew can do what Ditto can do, can't it? Because Ditto's a failed clone of Mew.
Yeah.
Because one of Mew's powers is shapeshifting and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is Mew and Ditto the two Pokemon that can learn transform?
Yeah.
So, so that, and you learned. So then I think you did a check or something and worked out that on one of the little test tubes it said like #151, and you're like, oh, that's I think that's Mew's Pokemon number.
They got hash in this vial.
So then,
is Mew high all the time?
From there, you went on and did your first Pokemon combat. And
I mean, I didn't.
No, yeah. So it was sort of like a wee class that you had to go and get, your very first Pokemon combat, and you guys all fought against 3 people, and
hate Oddishers, hate Seedots, can go fuck themselves.
I guess I got Whooper and Oddish.
Oh, hate Whooper! Fuck Whooper.
I can't remember what the other one was.
Purple.
And then, but you won that competition, or you won that, and then as a prize for that, you got given eggs. You got taken through to the laboratory where you were before and got given an egg each.
Oh, I've forgotten about the eggs,
Yeah.
And the eggs were all hatched into the intended Pokemon as well.
Yeah.
Apart from the ones that you changed.
And then, after that, you guys went back up to the library because you had a little bit of homework to do about finding out about your Pokemon and whatnot, which was when you got super excited about library time.
Library time! Best time.
Not that happy about library time.
And
I think that's where we started to teach you to read.
It was. And then you left the library. I think Oliver stayed in to do some more work. You guys...
We're sponsored by Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Please don't say it.
Hey, Mum. Hello. Do you need me? Because I'm recording the podcast at the moment. No, sorry. I'll speak to you later. Love you. Bye.
This was intended to be an unedited episode, and it will be an unedited
Fuck
episode.
it, leave it in.
This podcast is sponsored by...
That was really weird, speaking to our only listener whilst recording the podcast.
So, you guys left the library because you were just sick of that kind of stuff.
No.
I put my phone on silent.
Oliver stayed in. You guys walked back out of the library and came across the 2 Alakazam collapsed on the ground outside the headmaster's office, who you didn't know who it was. You called Oliver, he came back over, and you went in and you saw, I think maybe 2, I can't remember, but 2 members of
Lab Shades.
Team Lab Shades.
Can I just clarify?
Lab Shades.
Is it Lab Shades or Lamp Shades?
Lab Shades. Why would it be Lamp Shades?
I thought it was Lamp
The
Shades.
whole point it was lab, because they were like, lab
I thought it was Lamp Shades.
There's always that one person who thinks the joke is the action. That's what made it funny.
I'm pretty sure I've been saying Lamp Shades.
What?
Why?
I don't know.
You guys defeated the members of Team
I thought
Lab
the
Shades.
goggles were like lampshade shaped or something.
So they were
Seriously? Did you not get it was because they were wearing lab coats?
I can't. Do you know what? It's been that long.
Do you know what? We really didn't know what was going on.
So the members of Team Lab Shades were ransacking this headmaster's room looking for the blueprints for the genome machine, which is the one that was analysing Mew downstairs.
Yeah.
they found that, and then so they were fighting with you. And
I tried to kick one of them, but you wouldn't let me.
I think two of you started fighting one of them, and then Nat, you went and tried to attack the guy who was actually looking for the stuff, while the other guy was trying to fight you guys off.
Something like that.
And then they managed to knock you guys out and escape through a window.
I tried to kick him in the balls. Didn't I?
I think they jumped onto a Pokemon or something. I can't exactly remember.
I might have kicked a Pokemon.
No, I think you did, and I think this is the point where I was the one that was like, guys, I don't think I'm cool with this. A bit different at the end of the campaign when I was just murdering Pokemon left, right, and centre.
So then, when you guys woke up from your concussion, is probably the most controversial part of the campaign.
Yeah.
Which I will.
Do you regret?
Can I ask why?
You should.
Okay. So the point was.
Right,
you guys knew what had happened in there.
Torture. Go on.
No, you guys knew what had happened in there.
Yeah.
And he had the Alakazam that was able to read your mind. So you weren't being tortured. He was just using that to be able to...
Seemed a little bit like torture.
I seem to remember you saying the words...
You're in pain.
Extreme pain.
Yeah, like it hurts.
I mean,
So,
do you know,
Ow, please.
Please stop.
Kyle being like, if I have a mum, can you please help me?
Do you know, there's a
No.
thing,
No.
you could have just asked, and we probably would have told you what we knew, but instead, you went down the child torture route, and I'm not okay with that. I'll
Okay,
admit that.
maybe I
I'm
shouldn't
not
have got the
good with it.
Alakazam to... I mean,
To be honest, people in the real world get annoyed when the government looks at their Facebook profiles, let alone psychically looking into their minds.
But anyway, so the whole point of that was pretty much to find out. He thought you guys were responsible for destroying the room, and he wanted to find out exactly what happened.
Destroying the room, how could you? That's a classic.
Animal House! That's a reference no one but me will get. God damn it.
I don't get it either.
No.
I don't get it.
Come on, you've never seen Animal House.
What is Animal House?
Watch Animal House. It's just,
I don't-
it's the original
I haven't seen
comedy.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and you keep referring to it. So like,
I think that's the
What
best
is
one.
wrong with you?
That's the best
just don't
Indiana
watch
Jones.
movies.
So after that, you guys... so he let you off once he found out what exactly happened, and he knew it was the truth because he'd analysed your brains through Alakazam.
Yeah, let's keep coming back to that.
Yep. He then described what the problem was, and that though he was trying to... They'd managed to take the blueprints for the genome machine and what that could mean. Can you guys listen?
I am listening.
This is why we didn't know what was going on.
I'm listening.
Because you're trying
Blueprint
to...
machine.
No, you're
trying
using
to
pencils as mustaches.
They were trying to figure out
and
who
playing
took the,
footsie.
They were trying to figure out who took the blueprint machine, Team Lamp machines. We got tortured.
It wasn't the blueprint machine, it was the blueprint
Sorry.
of the machine.
I meant to say that. We were trying to figure out who took the blueprints for the genome machine, Team Lamp machines. We got tortured for no apparent reason. Stephen was the one who tortured us. Hashtag Stephen go to prison. Tweet that.
Doing this off the cuff so much quicker, yeah.
I know. So he
Hashtag
explained the
justice
situation.
for the Pokemon characters.
He explained the situation to you guys and told them who he was. He's Stephen, and then that was when Kyle had a little bit of a... I mean, you probably recognised him because Stephen was part of Kyle's backstory, as he was the one that recommended him to Trainer City Academy. He said that he was going to have to take information and go and talk to the professor, who you didn't know who that was at that point, but he had to go to Marble Step City to talk to the professor in the library there.
Yes.
And he said that he's also, since being the Pokemon champion of the Hoenn region, he was doing research into legendary Pokemon in the Mistura region.
Yes.
So
I feel like I'm the only one paying attention because I have no choice but to make eye contact you because of the way we're sitting.
Right, can I confiscate your pencils?
I am listening. Stephen had to get gone.
You don't need to repeat it.
We are listening.
You're just distracting me.
Right. Fly through it. Fly through the entire campaign fast.
Fly, you fool.
All the listeners have just heard it.
This is more for you guys. You guys went to sleep. You guys woke up.
We met Jack.
I
we
went
went
to
to
the toilet,
beach. We
had
broke
breakfast.
in. We broke into their house.
Yeah, we went.
Wait, so when you woke up, you went out to a lesson and you
I
found
thought that spider.
you found 3 people or two people beating up a pigeon.
No, three people. You can't just
You said the
change
words.
it.
3 people beating
We
up a pigeon.
recorded it.
Yeah, okay, maybe Byron
Play
was
the
at that
tape.
point. This was before I decided that he was going to be a good guy.
I'm disappointed in Byron. Disappointed.
We then fought them. 1 went for breakfast.
No, you went and then no, you didn't. So you were in the process of fighting him when a big explosion went off behind you, and people in lab ships ran out with
And
the
we
bit from the
chased
Genome
them
Analyzer.
to that
yeah.
cave, found one of them being eaten by a spider,
Fought a spider.
beat
Yep.
up the spider, followed the rest of them, met
So you got
Went to
lab
an old man's
beach.
house.
Beach? That was
You,
beach.
you went
Let's
into their
go away.
headquarters, and they were getting set up to go off
Headquarters.
to Faraway
islands.
Island,
Yes.
which was where Mew is, because they needed Mew for something.
We did some great stealthing.
We did some
Yeah,
stealth. We
yeah.
found some stuff out. We ended up on a boat going to Faraway Island.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Then we
Yeah.
Do we have new Pokemon
we
at
drowned.
this point?
No,
Nope.
we drowned.
Do I
And
have
then
one slot?
Nessie
Okay.
kicked us out of the water.
So in terms of actually, because the bits that you guys need to, they didn't manage to follow was sort of the progress of what was going on in terms of Team Binary and what they needed and when.
So they gone to get Mew at this
Once
point.
you get Mew, and they'd
Yeah.
taken the genome analyzer
Yes.
from the thing to
To go
So now
analyze.
they've got Mew and the genome analyzer.
Yes,
Not
exactly.
the Genome Analyzer!
So we can. Most of the campaign was a lot of we did a lot of gyms and moved through cities and things like that, and we gathered information through. We gathered basically the cast, didn't we? We met Harris and things
Yeah.
like that, and we got some tech XP shares and stuff for us. But for them, the next thing that they got was the orb, wasn't it?
So then they.
Yeah, do you want to just run through what Team Lab Shades did?
Yes,
'Cause rather
yes.
than, and then you went to this gym, and then you went to this gym.
Yeah,
Just what
okay.
did Team Lab Shades do?
So Team Lab Shades, the next time you met them, so this was after you guys had come into the water and got washed off the beach
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that, you
Yeah.
went up and went to a
Back
new
to the
city, and you
chat.
went and you found out that there were people in the crystal cavern who were taking the precious
yeah.
crystals
Yes.
that were the region uses to
Because we had
power.
some fragments, right?
Yeah.
So they got the crystals.
So they'd got the crystals which
That
they
was
needed
near
to power
Pokemon.
they needed to power something big.
Yes.
You then went on. The next time you met them was so you went north. You met Red in the library.
yeah.
Someone's calling me.
Is it your mum?
No, it's not my mum. I think that's Vodafone.
Your mum is Vodafone?
So you met Red, and that was a big moment. That was great. The next time you met Team Lab Shades, so you met your rivals on the train, and then you met Harris,
Yeah.
and then you went on the train. He gave you a train pass to go to Orside Town, which was a sort of a sleeper train.
Yes.
You went on that randomly, got stopped halfway, and the police came on who had been mind warped
Yeah.
by something, and they said, "Look, this train needs to turn back." You guys
jumped off.
You jumped off.
They went into a cave. I didn't.
No, so you, yeah. So the train went back. You guys went on to the cave where the train should have gone through.
Orbs.
You went and you found
Orbs.
orbs.
No,
There
lack
were
of an
orbs at
orb.
this
Lack of an orb.
No, there were people in there having just taken the orbs, and we fought them, and then they teleported.
Maybe this is a problem on my part. I don't remember any orbs.
There were orbs.
It was the thing that you summoned Latias and Latios with.
Were they orbs?
I
Yeah.
thought it was a orb.
No, because we went into
I
a room
think it
and
might
there
be
were
in the
orbs.
games, but was it an orb?
There were orbs.
Have I just been playing Alpha Sapphire too recently?
Yeah,
There were orbs.
potentially.
There was
So you went-
definitely an orb.
So you went in and there was cave paintings.
I don't remember cave painting.
I remember cave paintings.
So there's cave paintings of Latios and Latias, and there
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like instructions
But there
in the
wasn't an
wall
orb.
of how to summon them. I'm
There was a
looking at my
pedestal
notes.
with orbs
Where the orb used to be.
and there was like a little
Oh,
dint
maybe-
for an orb.
Yeah,
And then we
maybe.
fought someone and they teleported away, and it was the first
Yeah.
time we'd seen them teleport. and we
Okay,
were
maybe
pissed.
you're right. Maybe you know the story better than me.
We
I
paid
actually-
attention.
I know.
See, I just know this because this was the
did
episode
it.
where I was really mean to Robin, in that I turned around and I was just like, I don't like my character doesn't like your character anymore, and you were really upset about it.
Oh dear.
Still salty.
Wait, which episode was
'Cause-
Robin upset in?
All of them. This was one of the ones where she was upset with me.
So yeah, they managed to teleport
I
away
hate
because
you
they've got
all.
that team binary tech that allows them to just fucking teleport. So they now have the ability to summon Latios and Latias.
Then,
Right.
So
Then we went to a mountain, and
Did
they
we?
summoned Latios and Latias at some point.
yeah, okay. So you went through. You met Tarat. So you went through into the next town, gym leader. Then you fought a Tyranitar.
Yeah, fought inverted commas.
Yes, because Blaine. Because you guys were not meant to summon that. You guys were not meant to alert that thing.
Don't put it there.
Not only did
if you don't want us to do it.
I love that you put a massive Pokemon in that we weren't supposed to go near. And not only did we go near it, fight it, and then force you to beat it for us, I got a baby Tyranitar out of it.
You stole a child.
Win-win.
So we talked a little bit about Nat's backstory when Blaine was there. You guys went up, you met, so the 4th gym, you talked to Sky, who was going to the meeting in Trainer City Academy,
What a babe.
Yeah.
which was organised when you guys were at the library. You were saying, like, some of the main people in the region are going to be there. We're going to talk about what's happening with Team Lampshades.
Oh yeah. Then we went to that.
Yep, and
Then we went back.
So when you went to that, so old man Jack, remember him? He crashed through the door, who was the ranger.
Top bloke.
And then he was like,
What a babe.
look, there's all of these ships have set sail again. They don't look like they're heading to Faraway Island, they look like they're heading somewhere else. And then you worked out, looks like they're heading up towards Snowfall City, something like that.
The big snow place with the mountain where we fought people and I fell down a mountain.
Yeah, I went back for you.
So that was when...
For some reason, I could get back.
Yeah, that was the first inkling we had of Team Richmond. The sort of the cover-up story.
Oh, yeah.
For all the shit that was going down.
Yeah.
We had Team Binary and the police.
The Pokemon terrorists, effectively, that were the Richmonds, right?
Were saying that all of this is down to this, Team Richmond, who were this, mysterious people that no one had really met.
Everyone's met us.
Well,
what do you mean?
But they were the problem, to sort of deviate their attention elsewhere. You went up to the top of the mountain there.
Fought some dicks. And there was a big machine
that was using the orb and the crystals to power it to summon Latios and Latias and capture them.
You're giving a great image, but I can just see dicks walking around it now.
Yes, I just see flying
so
dicks.
You realised that you couldn't save So you realise you couldn't save Latios and Latias.
What's the arms, like veins?
No
like
arms.
No arms.
No arms.
Armless.
Literally just walking dicks.
Swaying back and forth.
Oh.
Flopping back and forth.
Trying to turn a corner.
So you realised you couldn't capture, that you couldn't do anything about them capturing Latios and Latias because there was a big force field
Is that when Sky came and got us?
Yep, Sky came and got you.
We flew through some caves and then we fought some
dickheads
in the waterfall cave and then he collapsed the cave, he being Kyle.
And you met
Then we met Xavier and he teleported away like a dick. And then Sky saved us again and we went away.
Yep.
And then I think we just went to the next gym.
Yeah, there was a little bit of
just brushed
time.
off.
It's like, well, that happened. Gym.
You guys were going to go and investigate what was happening in the in White Hollow City.
And then we thought, fuck that, gym.
Yeah, so you went and did some gyms.
I want to be the very best.
That was when Volta later on you destroyed that little inn where you were staying.
Oh,
yeah, I told them I was me, and they were like, "So you're a terrorist?"
Yeah, and then
so I'm like, "I know what I said. I knew what I said."
That is, I think, probably my favourite moment from that podcast. Is that long and edited down, long silence of you being like, "I know what I said."
So you guys fought your rivals after that, and Byron wasn't there.
Is that when he hit her on the head?
That was when you knocked her out.
Success!
Did they die in that
We
wilderness?
have not met Lexi since.
They died in the wilderness.
She's still in intensive care.
Good.
Have we not seen Lexi since?
No.
Jesus Christ.
Or Kian. You've not met either of them.
Was that their names?
Yeah,
Fuck
Lexi,
me.
Kian, and
Kian's
Byron.
a dumb name.
Kian.
Lexi's I like a nice name,
how
but
do you spell
Kian
Kian?
doesn't sound like a real name. It's like Kieran, but you've mixed a bunch of it.
Kian. So you guys went down and you were going into Blackmere City, I think, and this was when there was the whole, you know how they had the the security checks all around the city.
Yeah, that went well.
So you
Flying colours.
So you managed to get through there.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I did well.
But Nat was given a black card because
she's not a galley person. She's truthful and honest and speaks her mind.
And can't do accents. Even when that accent is her accent stronger.
Yeah.
The one lesson I've learned is that you should never tell the truth to border security.
From this podcast or from life?
just in life.
And then you managed to get into that city. You fought the
we
gym
just say
leader.
always tell the truth to border
Yeah,
security.
yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
that was a joke.
It was a joke. Like I've been stopped by them repeatedly recently because apparently my passport looks nothing like me.
CIA, don't hate me.
Yeah. So you guys managed to get HM Surf from the fisherman there, and you surfed over towards.
Oh, that's how I got Horsey.
Yeah.
I have a name.
Yeah.
I never will.
It's done now.
Fuck that Horsey.
So you travelled over to Shadowdale Town, where you met the creepy twins.
And Red. Did Red not stay with us? Red
Oh,
stayed
that's
with
when
us.
the rumours
Red
of my
did
mum
some-
and Red being a couple came
Right,
from.
okay. I'm
You
going to be 100% honest here. One, I don't remember the twins. I remember a joke about
Creepy
The Shining.
twins.
I remember a joke about The Shining. I don't remember the twins.
There were two little
Ghost
identical.
I don't
Japanese
remember what the
twins.
fuck Ghost Pirate is about.
I
I've got
don't
no
think
idea.
I don't know where it came
just
from.
know that it's really funny. I haven't listened back to that episode
No,
yet.
it was what you were talking about. No, I know what it was. For some reason, Robin wanted to do something about his fancy dress. Like, what do you want to do tonight? And it was something with fancy dress. And they were like, no, this is a ghost town. No, she wanted to go get a pirate hat.
Because we were going to be sailing.
And then
Yes,
like,
we want to get a boat.
And then we were like, no, it's a ghost town. It's like, that's fine, I'll be a ghost pirate.
And then we just went from there.
Right, is that where it came
Yeah.
from? Jesus Christ, I could genuinely, you say that, but it's all new to
That
me.
rings a bell because I was like, when we were sailing Munchlax, I was like, I want to have like a pirate hat and a pirate flag.
Yeah. So previously to this, you'd known a little bit about Zephyrax and Selexis, the two legendaries of the Pokemon, from what you'd learned in Marble Step Library.
From Harris.
From Red and Steven. They talked about the mountains and how one was meant to
Red
be the
didn't
home or
really
like
talk.
be a resemblance of the two Pokemon and how one is meant to
What kind of pirate hat?
You know what? I
son of a bitch.
genuinely envisioned, like your stereotypical kid's hat that's just like a black thing with a skull.
Because I was thinking either like, was it a Jack Sparrow hat, one of them, or the classic Captain Hook also / Captain Barbossa hat. Because I'd go for the Barbossa.
Don't know what that is.
Oh, that you mean like the
It's
feather in it.
Massive, like rimmed hat, almost sombrero-esque inside.
like
and
Cad Bane wears in Star Wars.
I think I'd go
almost.
Jack Sparrow.
That size.
I'd go Jack Sparrow
Yes.
pirate hat over. Barbossa's is cool, but in terms of practicality, probably
I'd
Jack
go for
Sparrow.
Barbossa.
Which
Yeah.
can I talk about the legendary Pokemon now?
No,
What's Barbossa? Captain Barbossa from
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
played by Jeffrey Rush.
Okay.
You don't know who that is, do you?
No.
Okay.
He's
He was
Australian.
King's Speech.
Seen it once.
You piece of shit.
So you talked
See it
about
once is enough.
No.
So you talked about Selexis and Zephyrax and how Pokemon. So Pokemon had this bond with the humans,
Yes.
and Selexis was the one that sort of surveyed this and like was this sort of guardian of keeping this bond between humans and Pokemon precious.
Yes.
Zephyrax was the one who had the power to be able to remove Pokemon from this world, as in to move them somewhere else where they'd be safer. Where
Okay.
they're not, because if this world became, and humans became into a position where they weren't respecting the Pokemon,
Then they would.
then the bond is broken and Selexis can move them somewhere else. Sorry, Zephyrax can move them somewhere
Their
else.
parents. One gives you the
Kind
nice
of.
toy, and then when you don't look after your toy,
Yes.
your
Your
other
stepdad.
parent takes it away.
Yeah, exactly.
Your stepdad's like, well, fuck this child.
And the worry in this campaign was that what Team Binary were doing, which was creating these robot Pokemon to do things for you because they were more efficient and more effective. And
That's just progress, man.
so in this technologically advanced region,
Yeah.
which the Mistral region was, one of the companies were replacing Pokemon effectively, and that's why the legendaries came into it. How Zephyrax
So
might
that-
have deemed that
Pokemon would be removed from the world because
humans
We're shitty.
I'd
Because-
replace them.
because
Wait,
humans
so
are
would that have been
replaced them.
all Pokemon?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Did not think. I thought it was like a select few.
No.
Why?
Wow.
'Cause
I
I think
might
I-
have taken it more seriously if I thought
Yeah.
it was.
Because
all-
I think I originally, in my head, I originally had this scene where the big battle on top of the mountain, the big final battle was like Zephyrax and
Remember that.
that was happening,
Hmm.
and there was going to be some portal in the sky, and you could see Pokemon being dragged like out of houses across the region, being flying through the air into this portal,
Don't like that.
like
Oh,
being removed from the
Yes.
world.
It's just like, you're keeping Pokemon safe by traumatizing them?
Like,
I feel like a Rattata isn't going to enjoy that.
Can I ask you? Did you make that up?
No, this was one of the things that I forgot to put in, that I'd written down and then checked.
The whole concept of these Pokemon, these legendaries with these powers,
yes.
Is that birthed from you?
Yes.
Is it from your loins?
Yes.
The child of your fruit tree?
Yeah.
Cool. I respect that.
Yeah, I just should have explained it better, apparently.
No, I
got it.
I got that they brought Pokemon like with the bond and all that sort of thing. I just thought Zephyrac's the evil one, right?
Yep.
I thought Zephyrac's was that he would specifically, like, if you mistreated your Pokemon, you might wake up one day and it's gone because Zephyrac's had taken your Pokemon away. Not that he did it for all the world.
No, I got that it was all the Pokemon.
My interpretation was... Oh, sorry, no, go.
No,
go for it, sorry.
I generally don't have anything else to add, so go.
No, my interpretation, it wasn't like Zephyrix was evil, it was just a balancing kind of thing.
Yeah.
That it's like, so Alexis kept them there if it was all good, but then when Zephyrix took them away, he's not going to take them away to kill them, he would take them away to, like, a nicer place.
Somewhere, just like another world.
Like our whole world with just Pokemon in it, that's all happy and lovely, and they're free! But it's not evil, it's a balance thing.
Yeah.
Alright. Good.
I got
Cleared
that.
up.
Was
I just didn't realise
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
That is as far as I know the truth. But my personal interpretation is you're with me or against me, and so he was against me, so he's evil. So
I was convinced that we were evil for a lot of
I mean, you were.
I wasn't that evil. I just won. Really.
You killed 5.
I was just really good. 3.
Nearly 5.
Yeah, true.
A lot of numbers are nearly 5.
So, in
Like
Shadowdale
5?
Town, you went into the cave, which is inside of Tenebrae Mountain, and inside there was a big shattered statue of Zephyrix. So originally, they just thought this was a statue, or they'd only recently found it, and it was a big statue, and they just thought it was a statue of Zephyrix. And then it crumbled, and then after a while you guys realised that actually no, Zephyrix was actually inside that.
Oh, I didn't realise
this
that
was
at all.
Zephyrix was encased inside this mountain.
See,
when did that come into
I figured out.
Yeah.
When did that come into it?
No,
Because
I'm sorry.
Because
I remember Paddy not liking touching it.
Yeah, because remember there was the magical energy floating about and stuff around.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, why was he trapped?
That whole thing, I was just like, I don't get why this happened.
Gotta be totally honest. Semi-remember the statue.
I remember the statue.
And then Cassandra got...
I had no clue that Zephyrix was inside of it. I thought it was like about a poor omen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Zephyrix
okay.
is upset.
Yeah.
Reveal unto me, what was Binary's plan with Zephyrix? Like, were they specifically trying to do something with him, or did they not account for Zephyrix at all?
So Zephyrix, no, they didn't care about Zephyrix. Team Binary they were...
So at the end when he turned up, they were like as oh shit as we were.
Yeah. So there's another aspect that comes into this. So the Team Binary thing was, we wanted to sell everyone our robot Pokemon things.
Yes.
So they were making the drones, which were a combination of Muse DNA, the Latios and Latias, to make this sort of ultra, like, extremely amazing version of Latios and Latias.
Yes.
That was their goal, to get everyone on board, and because the Zephyrix thing was happening, they were going to be like, look, we've got Pokemon that can protect you against that. We've got these drones that can protect you against that, when that happened.
Right.
The other thing that came into it was Norman. Norman wanted Zephyrix.
Oh, Jafar.
Yeah.
He was trying to catch him.
He was actually the mastermind of it all. He was the one that organised the whole thing with Team Binary to try and get the drones, to try and make the robots, to try and turn humans kind of against their own Pokemon, to summon Zephyrix so that he could try and capture Zephyrix.
Yeah, why? Is a Alolan Marowak was trying to hypnotise it. I remember that now. He was trying to... Yep. Right,
why?
On board.
Why?
Because he's a legendary Pokemon and he wanted to catch that to prove to his family that, look, I am worthy.
To prove to the one member of your family who is 12.
Well,
Can I ask a question?
Or prove to himself more, really, maybe.
Because later on, we only found out about Jafar later on.
Yeah.
And that's the evil part of it all.
Yeah.
What up to that point? Because I'm falling back into the we're the bad guys sort of thing. What up to that point had Binary done that was evil?
Stolen Mew, blown up our school.
Yeah.
Okay, the blowing up the school bit, yes. But how is stealing Mew different to every Pokemon game where you capture the legendary? Like, no one gives me shit for literally walking around with, like, 6 nukes in my pocket, effectively.
They'd also framed my family as terrorists.
But why did they have to do that?
They were evil. They tried to kill us.
And also, they were being mind controlled.
Yeah. But I can't remember. I think there was a point where I was just like, oh right, that's why we were doing it when we played the actual campaign.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that made me like, why are we the bad guys? Because I couldn't remember why we were specifically going after Team Binary in the first place.
And that was
was that just because
you were the guys that knew most about it and you weren't being hunted?
Is it
because the other guys were being hunted?
Because they targeted.
No. Why were we going after Team Binary at all? Like what? Apart from you blew up the school. Is that our main motivation? To blow up the school, or is it
Stephen wanted you guys involved in it?
I think also because we didn't understand what they actually wanted to do. Like
they've blown up our school. They're kind of shady.
I think for you guys, they've stolen Mew.
So in the Pokemon actual Pokemon world, aside from ignoring the games, but in like the world of the anime and all that sort of stuff, it's bad juju, illegal sort of thing to go after legendary Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool.
That would make sense. Kind of like endangered animals. There's one of them. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I'm happy with that. So long as that makes sense to me.
That's a good analogy. If one of them, leave it alone.
If you think about it in like terms of the games, like.
Yeah.
Your character is such an evil wanker. Like, I'm gonna literally kidnap the god of the sky. I'm gonna delete all of his moves.
Yeah. I'm gonna kidnap God and have him use just HMs.
Yeah.
No more creating any worlds. No. You're using strength.
And I'm gonna put him at the bottom of a party filled with 5 Magikarps.
Mm-hmm. So, where do we get to? So. You realise that Selexis and Zephyrax were inside these mountains, and now they are loose because of the stuff that's going on with Team Binary.
The world has called them forth.
Why were they in the mountains if their whole thing was to maintain some sort of balance?
Just chilling. Because they were there in case it was needed.
So was it because the balance was maintained? Because
there was a balance.
Well, because they were encased in there because no, go on.
Did someone release them, or did they release themselves?
They released themselves. They could tell, right, the balance is shifted, we are needed. And then, when you guys had the big fight at the end...
Selexis turned up, didn't it?
So it's jumping a little bit, but Selexis turned up because Selexis could see that, no, there's still good in people, there's something amiss here. And then, you guys were trying to put this right, and maybe it could also tell... Huh?
Did I see that goodness
in you?
Did it regret that when I started killing Pokemon?
It's like, I made that.
It's like Selexis in its mountain, massive TV on, like, ooh.
And Zephyrax is like, really? These guys?
I love the imagine the two of them were just like friends. And just sit there like, what the fuck did you do this time?
So after the Zephyrax and Selexis were released, you guys went across the sea and... what's it called? Something sea, and you guys kept making a big thing about it.
No idea.
Kentus Reef, which was where every time I mentioned it, you went, Kentus Reef!
I don't remember that.
Why did we do that?
Do you not remember this?
No, I don't remember that.
Really?
Not at all.
This was a whole big thing.
Why did we do that?
Nah.
I don't know, because it sounded ominous.
How did we say it?
You went, Kentus Reef! Every time I said Kentus Reef.
No recollection of doing that. Doesn't sound like me.
I think it was mainly James and Robin anyway.
Really?
Yes.
I'm surprised at myself, to be honest.
So when you were going across Kentus Reef, which was all the...
Remember no, that doesn't... No, that...
Remember all the
Kentus Reef! That sounds much more like James.
Remember where all the whirlpools were? And then you guys got dragged under?
I did some great captaining at some point.
And then you all just jumped in.
Yeah.
And then you guys got rescued by the Dragonite, you got pulled up onto the shore, you talked to Lance.
When we met Lance and found out that
Byron was
wasn't so much of a dickhead after all, although he's still a dickhead.
Lance is cool.
Yeah. And then you guys organised your heist to go into Team Binary headquarters.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, we went to Team Binary headquarters and we found some... big test tubes that had Latios and Latias in it.
Right, and
then we blew the whole place up.
And then, yes. And
so what?
And Snorlax apparently killed someone.
You killed some people.
Apparently. Still in
Allegedly.
court. The jury is still out.
I'm not gonna lie.
Because
I don't
Snorlax
actually,
killed them all.
I'm not gonna lie. Again, I don't actually remember Snorlax killing people.
I
I
don't
just remember
either.
you saying afterwards, "Oh my god, my Snorlax killed people."
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember it happening either, but it's just become a bit of a meme that I'm
Yeah,
never gonna
yeah.
let
You
down.
Meme.
you're Snorlax murdered people.
So what happened was you went in and you found the blueprints and the instructions for these drones. What?
I was just gonna say it could be a funny meme, like the Snorlax with like the red eyes.
Or like the Z move.
Snorlax being like, oh my god, I'm a
Nani? Team lampshade. Just like two stick men with like lampshades on their heads.
Nani?
So in the headquarters you found the computers and whatnot with them designing the drones.
Yes.
And you found their plans to like do some sort of like RAF bullshit, showing off the drones in front of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, like
Creating
flybys and shit.
Yes. And then you went upstairs and then you found Mew, Latios and Latias trapped in
I think we
their...
tried to smash their tanks.
Yeah, but you couldn't.
Bullshit.
Which was bullshit. That was just me being the
'Cause I could
DM,
tell-
like, don't fuck
Because
this.
realistically, Ainsley could just teleport into it.
Yeah, but the crystals were being powered to do that as well. So the crystals were used there. Then you saw Norman run up and jump on a helicopter. Follow the helicopter over to the top of Lux Mountain.
Yeah.
Then we had the big final battle.
Not big final battle. Yes. And you landed on...
you did. You were like,
My brother.
yeah,
That's me.
whatever its name is.
My
Akbar.
brother, Akbar. Yeah.
You went over, and then that was when you, Stephen, were fighting against Norman. I don't think you actually fought Norman then. No, you didn't. Fought against some of the admins or something, and Xavier.
Because there was the two admins, the male and female admin.
Yep. One had to need a
Is
king
this
and
where
one
we
had
got
to
our
need a queen.
Megastones?
No.
So I know there was a fight on a
top-
big mountain,
There were
and
two.
then we used a helicopter to get to where we got our Megastones in a house, and I don't know why.
Right. So
Okay,
that's-
none of that was true.
Like Luke
I remember that
Skywalker,
bit.
nothing of what you just said.
Something like that.
I tried
No,
to
no,
pilot-
Everything you just said is wrong.
Did I try to pilot a helicopter?
No, I
You
tried
did.
to pilot a
You tried
helicopter.
to.
This was when James was
And
explaining
then James
to you.
in real life was just like, alright motherfucker, tell me how to pilot a helicopter. I'm like, I don't know, but Oliver would. And I was just like, right, you press the button and you pull on the joystick
I
and
was
it
just
goes
like,
up.
no.
Do you know how to fly a helicopter?
Yes, because I explained it to you at the time.
Yeah, you did.
How do you know how?
Because I watched a documentary about it.
Well, realistically, Oliver would have done that, so shut up.
Let me be clear. I know
Can
the
you
theory.
cast firebolts?
Don't know the practicality.
So what this was, on top of this mountain, which was Lux Mountain, which is the one in the west of the region, where so Xavier was on top doing, with the machine that was farting out...
What? I'm sorry. I just watched Robin, and Robin just watched me both do north, south, east, west in our heads.
We both did like never eat shredded wheat.
Never ever support West Brom. Cool.
Never. There's two E's there.
No, never ever support West Brom.
Oh. Oh.
Where was the two E's?
Dyslexia!
So what you were doing on top of this mountain, this was when Xavier had the big machine that was farting out drones. Right? It was just...
That was the noise it made.
And then, so drones were flying out here, there and everywhere.
German sperm.
This is when you fought against Xavier, and Norman was there too, and Norman used
Who's
the
Norman?
Jafar.
Okay, cool.
Norman used his Alolan Marowak to hypnotise Stephen and turn him against you guys.
Fuck, I remember fighting his Metagross, yeah.
Right, so this is, after that, you then flew the helicopter
We got saved by a Pikachu.
in a bit.
Yeah.
You flew the helicopter over to Umbra Castle,
Yeah.
right?
That's the house I'm thinking of.
No, it's not. Oh, it might
That
be.
is what I'm thinking
Oh,
of
right, okay,
being the
fine.
house, yeah.
So Umbra Castle, this like derelict
No, I know what
castle.
you're thinking of the house.
No, that is what I'm
No,
thinking
no,
of.
because
about
we
the
went
house.
to Stephen's house to get the wrist bracelet.
No, that's not it. I remember it's the going to Umbra Castle is what I think of, because in my head I have Umbra Castle being a big scary haunted mansion basically.
I don't remember Umbra Castle.
Yeah.
We went
I
there
don't
and that's
remember
where we
the
got our
I remember that's where we
stones.
fought Stephen, wasn't
You
it?
fought Stephen and
I
Xavier
think-
first, defeated them, and then this was when...
I got my stone. My evolution stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, you...
Yeah, that's where Ainsley evolved into a Gallade.
No, his
No.
stone. No, not Mega Stone.
No.
His evolution stone.
Right,
yeah.
yes. No, yeah, I remember now.
That was when I got it.
Oh.
And the
Right,
Firestone.
he is.
Because you fought against Xavier and Steven first. And this was when you and then Red turned up with his Pokemon. And this is when you realised that when you put the Pokemon or the people unconscious that were under this hypnotic spell, this was when they turned back, and you realised that no, Xavier was being hypnotised the whole time.
Yep, remember that bit. Who gave us the stones?
Red. He like walked in, big dramatic entrance, and like gave you each a stone as he walked in.
Pikachu was sick.
But we can.
I mean, it's red.
Did we fight with Red in the final
Yeah.
battle?
Yeah,
Very
you fought with him
Yes.
in Umbra Castle, and you fought against Norman, and then he heard the
Norman.
whole Zephyrax flying overhead, big storm and everything, took out half the castle with this
Right.
storm, and then you guys teleported to the top of the mount of Tenebrae Mountain, which is the other mountain.
And then we had the big battle.
And then you had the big battle against Zephyrax and Norman and the drones, and then
Yeah.
Selexis turned up and fought against Zephyrax. Norman was trying to hypnotize Zephyrax to become it. This was when we also found Nat's dad's Arcanine, the Dark Arcanine.
Darkanine.
And big fight, and Selexis won very marginally over Zephyrax.
Because we helped.
Sure. And then you tried to catch Zephyrax.
Did we?
As of course I would.
Absolutely. And I think Stephen and Xavier restrained Norman and took him away.
Did I try to kick him? I'm pretty sure.
I,
I tried
well,
to kick
he
him.
was,
Didn't
in,
I
he,
give
was,
you
he,
the
was,
boot?
he was in a sandstorm for a decent amount of time. Do you remember that? You put James, you put him in a sandstorm.
Oh, that was cool.
Oh yeah.
Or was it Sand Tomb? Or no, I don't think it was Rock
No,
Tomb.
it was Sandstorm Vortex or something.
That was-
Oh,
It was
yeah.
a vortex or something.
Yeah.
Nice, I
yeah.
couldn't hit him. Did you give me the boot of vengeance? I think you did.
Yes. Or I don't know if I gave you the boot of vengeance or justice.
Maybe vengeance, I think.
Probably. One of
Would
them.
it be just... both of them would be
I think
valid.
I gave you the choice.
Both would be valid.
So the final thing that happened in that scene to get rid of all of the drones, and this, I think this bit was actually a little bit sloppy on my behalf. I kind of found a cool picture and I wanted to put it in somehow. Was when, remember the combination of Latios and Latias turned up? The sort of yellow...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I just found a really cool picture. I was like, oh yeah, no, I like that.
And then we rode on it.
And then, so that
Yeah.
came to, and it was supposed to be like a fusion of Latios and Latias, which can happen now in my world, which came and managed to
Maybe you can only
banish
happen
the
once
rest of
with
the
the help
drones.
of Mew.
Maybe. And then, so that was sort of the end of the story in terms of
Yeah.
the world
Yeah.
ending type thing.
And then...
So then you guys went on, you finished and you went off to
Got the Mega Stone.
Megastones,
We
then
met
you
his
went off
dad.
to Dewford
Met his
Island,
dad, yeah.
and
So
then...
basically, I
then
think
we had a big party, and I met my mum.
because obviously the rest of it will have been very recent.
Yes.
We don't really need to go through the rest of it. We did all of our stuff. We did the Elite Four and everything like that. Do you want to talk about Victory Road?
We'll talk
What
about
do
that
you want to
last.
talk- yeah,
we'll
do you
talk
want
about
to
that
talk
last.
It was just like a completely normal Victory Road.
No, it was, yeah.
Wait,
True.
what are you talking about?
So, yeah, no, nothing to talk
I
about.
remember it
Nothing to talk
very
about.
well. It
Very
was fun.
fun.
We got lost for a little bit, as you always do, and then got bored, left my game save for 6 months, and then came back.
Anyway, yeah, so totally normal.
Made that decision, do I swipe it all because I don't actually remember what I've done, or do I just keep going and try to remember how to actually play this
And
game?
then just end up looking it up online.
Yeah.
You would swipe a Pokemon game. Like,
I've done
delete
that
it.
before, like what, the games that
That
I've played
is-
that
By
I
swipe,
can't,
do you mean wipe?
that I can't remember how far I've got. I either just start a new one or I'll just wipe it. What's the point? I don't remember how I did play it. I'm gonna get absolutely shit mixed.
How to play
Shit mix is a
Pokemon?
great-
Press A, pick a move,
No,
press
no,
A again.
I'm not just Pokemon games. Just like other games in general. Like if I leave a game for ages and I can't remember really how to play it, and I'm at a really really high level, probably just start a new save file.
You're clearly just not pro
You
enough.
can't start a new save file on Pokemon.
I'm not talking about Pokemon. I'm talking about
You were
life
okay.
in general.
What game series
How
are we talking about?
Any, just in general
Just
games.
in games, like I've only played one Pokemon game. We all know that.
You haven't.
half of one.
Half of
You
one
play,
Pokemon.
not even that, like the first quarter.
Third.
Right,
I'll
shall
meet
we?
you at third.
Yeah, fine.
How many gyms?
At least 5.
I think
third.
she got. I think
So,
she got. I think she was almost.
Between a
At,
third and a half.
I think she was almost at Portree, which is gym 6.
Well,
Maybe about half.
Where's Portree?
Portree was I don't think you quite got there. It's like trees and it's this like little wooden place.
I'd say that's about half because there's 8 gyms plus the Elite Four, but then the rest of the story. So I'd say about just under half.
She got to just before it got interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just forgot.
Right. Okay. So what did we like about it? What was good?
None of what you
2
just
stars
described.
and a wish.
No, what's it? Compliment sandwich.
Compliment
A
sandwich.
compliment
Right.
sandwich.
I liked the story.
Okay.
Are we actually doing this?
Trying to think of something bad.
The game system.
No, because we're going to talk about that
Because
later.
we're all going to say the game system.
Yeah, I know.
Look, the compliment. We like the story. We hate the game system.
And my
like...
second compliment is I love Professor Alder.
Yeah, I love Professor Alder.
I think, in terms of what probably could have improved, combat did sometimes drag on for quite a bit. That was in part of the game system.
Yeah.
But also just us not being fully familiar with it every single time we came back. But I mean, it was stuff that we really didn't have a lot of control over.
I think... Right, do we want to talk about the game system now?
Yes, the Don fan in the room.
Can we just talk... Because one of the biggest problems I had with it, and this is... Because one of the things I find really... I love the rule system within D&D, and I really enjoy levelling up my character, because I get like a new spell and stuff.
Yeah.
I really disliked levelling up characters in Pokemon.
Yeah, no,
because it didn't feel exciting anymore,
and
I would hope that I didn't get a new move, so that I wouldn't have to figure out how to like work it into the slots, and I would hope that they didn't level up, because it would mean that I wouldn't have to redo every fucking number system, and if they evolve, Jesus Christ, forget about it.
It's a fucking shit show.
So the system that we used was called Pokemon
Tabletop
United, and we used 1.05, I think.
And we got to say that, you know, we couldn't have done it without it.
No.
Kudos to whoever made it.
And it's fantastic.
It's very complicated
brilliantly
and
put
intricate.
together. It just didn't work for us, and we just got so frustrated using it.
There is another... There's Pokemon Tabletop United and there's Pokemon Tabletop Adventures. We maybe should have had a look at both of them. Yeah. Because Tabletop Adventures might be a bit easier. Yeah. Especially because, like, looking at it now, I've just got it up on my laptop. Like, whereas Tabletop United just has a big-ass, like, rule book, Tabletop Adventures has a player's handbook and a GM's guide. Yeah. And, like, in 2 separate bits, so that might have been easy to use. But we didn't. If you're going to do it, don't use United.
Well, the thing is, it depends what you want. If you want to record a podcast where everything runs super smoothly, then don't use PTU, because
it's more of a war game.
So much number crunching.
Yeah.
See, to me, the numbers wasn't the problem. Like, the dice rolls and stuff were fine. It was more, as James says, when you're leveling up your characters, what rules and stuff to use for a lot of things. Like, the actual dice rolls and stuff were okay,
but on the other side of it, the editing of those dice rolls is a complete fucking clusterfuck. It's just such a pain in the ass,
because there's so many different numbers you need to add together.
Almost half of the combats gets edited out because we're just sat there counting or figuring out what we're doing, and the fact that every time you make an attack you have to add 6 different components together. Yeah, it's just so difficult.
I found that the amount of number crunching you needed to do meant that we were concentrating more on numbers and less on the actual role play. Yeah. I kept feeling like, oh no, we actually need to describe what we're doing rather than saying we're doing this move. And it always felt like we were trying to barge in the role play into this thing that wasn't really allowing it.
Oh, we do 80 damage. Okay, cool. And then that would be the move over, and we hadn't actually described what happened.
Yeah, and it was that way for most of the campaign. And I think it was really late on where we realised, it was after I'd edited a bit of it, I was like, we described nothing. We should try and make an effort to do that.
And we did that by getting rid of the grid. Because we originally started off using a grid system. We used an actual grid and actual markers. You need it
to play these rules. Like, in order to... Because it's like... The rules talk like, this many squares. Like, there's things about, like, if you're adjacent to people and all that kind of stuff.
Flanking rules.
So we had... Which is brilliant. Again, if you wanted to play it with some friends and stuff, probably works brilliant. Especially if you're, sat there able to look at the grid and stuff. But making it as an audio medium, it's just... crap.
As real Pokemon diehard fans who like the game mechanics, it is incredibly true to the games.
Yeah. It's genuinely helped me play the games better. Yeah,
like there are so many aspects of the games I now realise were never there. Yeah. Because I've played this.
Because you go into your Pokemon summaries and the actual games and stuff, and you can see that maths is there. Yeah. All the additions and stuff, the adds and everything you have to add in, it's all there. It's very true to it. It just it can be tedious when you haven't got a computer doing it for you.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to do that 16 times every combat, and it's just...
Yeah.
I think I just got used to being a human calculator.
Yeah, but Robin's the only one that can do mental maths.
Continuously forgot to add things in.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to add my attack in. Well, the damage is done now, or... I think there was 1 or 2 times where I accidentally added my attack in twice or something stupid.
And I also found, because a lot of the time when you were facing Gym Legions, people in the Pokemon League, they didn't say anything from start to the end of the combat, and that's something I regret. But I think it's because we were just so concentrated on.
Can you imagine how long the combats would have been with us trying to roleplay in the middle of them as well?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. So I'm looking at the Pokemon Tabletop Adventures Player's Handbook.
Oh, don't do this to
and
us.
it's like 10 times more easily. It's literally like, if you are this class, here are the powers you can use at this level.
Oh, that was the other thing as well.
Yeah.
Trying to understand what I could and couldn't use.
Yeah.
Because then it would be like, it would say somewhere, this is what you need to do
And
this.
is,
to have
this,
this, you have to have this
this.
prerequisite, and then I have to go find the prerequisite, and that would have a prerequisite, and then I'd be like, you end up following a chain. I had notes of how I wanted my character to progress, because I could not be asked to go through the character sheet every time.
This
book.
This has a table which says when you're this level, you can use these things in your class. And then when you're at this level, you can get another class.
That's what it needs.
That's what it needs. So, public service announcement. If you're going to do Pokemon, use Pokemon Tabletop Adventures, not United, because it seems much easier.
They've released a new PTU, though, 1.06, which might be better.
Yeah, because I subscribe to the PTU subreddit, and other people, this is just people clearly love PTU. It's very good for certain things.
Yeah.
We're saying it's bad for what we wanted to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The actual thing itself is great. So if you're the person that made it, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you want to do a podcast, I'd say give Adventures a go, because it seems a lot easier to roleplay with.
If I had to describe it with one sentence, I would say it's very complicated. Mm-hmm. Whether that be good or bad is up to the person who uses it, but it is very complicated, and I don't think you could deny that.
It's like, for people that know a lot about role-playing systems, it's like Pathfinder plus 4th edition D&D, which for some people will sound like a scathing review. For some people that might sound okay. I'll let you decide which one of in my opinion.
I think role-playing systems work best, like you say, when you have a class and then there's just rules that you follow with that class.
Mm-hmm.
Like this system, you could buy into almost anything so long as you had the prerequisites. Mm-hmm. And there was no when you build the character, you don't actually pick a class really to start with.
By the end, Oliver had 3 different classes, and that doesn't make any sense because he's got nothing in all 3. But it'd be like, oh, what of my classes can I get? I can't actually unlock any more stuff in my class because I don't have the prerequisites, and I'm not going to be able to get the prerequisites. So I'll go into another class.
The difficulty as well arose that maybe we found it so complicated because we also had such big gaps between when we played. So every time we played, we had to get ourselves reacquainted with it, and then
that is true. Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's not complicated. It is, but it's so intricate. You can't help but admire how much time it took to make it.
I'm incredibly impressed. And as I said, people that like Pathfinder and 4th edition D&D will love it. I'm neither of those people.
Yeah.
I think also
I feel like none of us are those people.
I think it was the time that's why we always forgot I forgot to add my attack into my actual attack, or shit, I forgot to minus this, or I don't know what half these moves do, and I have to sit and look them up every single time. So
and plus we were playing D&D alongside this, as like we said, with the recording, and so we kept dropping back into a system that we know and really like, and then trying to force ourselves back into PTU was a bit jarring maybe, but like we said, we didn't know what happened in the story that we were in, so
how long it must have taken to make it, and how much knowledge you need to have of Pokemon to make it is insane.
Which is why I wanted to start by saying it's a good system. It just frustrated us.
It's very personal. It either worked for you or it won't.
But it's a steaming pile of dog shit, is what it is. No, it's not.
This is heartbreaking reading the Pokemon Tabletop Adventures rules.
It's
just I'm reading it, and this is this is everything we want. Basically, it's like, so you know how stab bonus is a bitch to work out.
Yeah.
In Pokemon Tabletop Adventures, stab bonus is if you are level 5, you get this bonus if it's stab, as in you do this much more damage.
Yeah.
So if you're level 15, you do 3 more damage.
Oh, cool.
And it's just
I
it's
think
heartbreaking.
It was, it was okay.
Yeah.
The Pokedex on it was great.
Oh, that's
fucking
that was
massively
so
extensive and simple.
Yeah.
Like all that Pokemon, all of its information on one page.
Fab.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Absolutely
best bits of
brilliant.
it. Yeah.
That's actually fantastic because it's properly extensive.
Yeah.
Like we could pick
It's,
from
it's
anything.
everything up till Sun and Moon, and I'm pretty sure the most recent, the 1.6 update to PTU is Sun and Moon Pokemon as well.
Because we know people would tell us that, like, you know, people could say, well, you can play Pokemon through a D&D system.
Yeah.
And that's something that, we
How do you stat
definitely
Pokemon?
like. But statting a Pokemon and stuff, and we could make it up ourselves, which is a lot of work. And there are there are systems, especially now that we know of, that have a lot of them statted. But we wanted to have something that had all of them.
Yeah.
We did this drunk, to be honest. And the reason we chose this system was because Connor and I were drunk when we found it.
Like the best bit about like the Pokemon in the game is that it's like there's a table of like you have this much experience, and while it's difficult to do like the leveling up sometimes, it's actually like the actual leveling up of the Pokemon does kind of make sense when you do it.
Yeah.
It's because in the games you level up, you get experience after every single game, and because as opposed to a D&D character going through one level in a campaign, in a campaign for Pokemon, you've got to get this Pokemon from level 5 to like level 60 if you want to take on the league. So you need to do it 60 times.
I mean, I think this might be a bit because at this point you'll have heard the Star Wars campaign,
which we are about to play.
About to record.
Straight after recording this.
This is probably going to sound a bit weird considering the way that system works, but I love the D20 system. I love having a dice that I roll for every fucking thing, and then I add things to it based off what's on my character sheet. I love that. I mean, Star Wars doesn't work like that. Star Wars and Pokemon both work of that. You modify the dice roll of what you want to do, and the difficulty changes. I like that. In D&D, I maybe it's because I'm a simpleton, but I absolutely love just having one dice that I can roll.
Yeah.
And my D20, and I always know to reach for that one first, and then Henry will tell me if I'm reaching for the wrong dice. But it's like
often the D12.
I like the D20 system because a lot of the work almost seems like it's done for you. I know you've got to add something to it, but most of the time you know what that's gonna be. You don't have to root around for several different types of dice to figure out how many
there
you've got to
on
roll.
your character sheet. Like you add this to this.
Yeah.
All right. So I think the one other thing that I think we could have done better, that I'm a little bit disappointed about, is that we decided to do this as a big long campaign where we went through all the gyms.
Yeah.
And the Pokemon League and everything. And I think
almost didn't happen.
Yeah, which we decided to do that because we found a really cool map, and we're like, oh no, we could completely make our own region here, and we can tell a whole story and play through it in a whole Pokemon game, effectively. But what it meant is that the campaign was just so long, and it became very complex, and you guys missed out on a lot of stuff, and we were playing it so infrequently, which is why we split it into 2 seasons. Where we're going to split it yet, we don't know. But, So that was a bit of a pain, and I would have liked to have had it more concise.
Yeah, I feel like the optimum way to do it would have been either have a campaign where you do the 8 gyms, or have a campaign where we do the story bit.
Yeah,
working together made it extra long, but like
I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, but like in terms of just length, like it would have worked quite well if we had did a campaign where we did the gyms and then we did a campaign where we did the story, or we just did a campaign where we did the story.
I think it's definitely a long campaign, and maybe some people wouldn't like that as much, especially if you weren't enjoying what was happening. Then you'd be knowing it's going on for another 20 episodes or something would be crap. But I really liked it. I liked having the gyms in it. I felt that those are the bits that grounded me. Okay. Because when I knew how many gyms I had done, that was the sort of thing that I genuinely remembered. It was like, okay, we've done 6 gyms. I'd be like, right, okay, well, I know that we've got to do something with the story, but the 7th gym is coming up.
Yeah. And
I would sort of go, right, okay, we'll go do the gym there, and then we'll have done that, and then we can do someone there will probably explain the story thing to me. And like, I liked having and it felt very close to a real Pokemon game. Especially even the way that we finished before we'd finished the story finished before we'd finished the actual gyms. That felt very
with,
Pokemon
the cheesy
as well. Like,
touring, everyone celebrating having a party. It was literally like the end of X and Y. Like everyone has a big party. Like the story itself is very Pokemon.
It's the thing that I want to be able to, because D&D's D&D, just is. The one thing I want to try and pull off that I think you pulled off for me very well in this is that it felt Pokemon. The whole world felt very Pokemon to me. Like it didn't feel like I was sort of playing a character and Pokemon were also there sort of thing.
Yeah.
It felt like a Pokemon world to me. Like
I think
I was
like,
like,
I'd agree.
That's so cute. And I hope maybe we'll be able to pull that off with Star Wars, make it feel like it's an actual Star Wars situation as well. But I felt that was something that went really well in this campaign. Is that I felt like I was playing a Pokemon game.
Yeah. So I think if we ever come back to Pokemon,
but there were 16 controllers and lots of D6s.
Yeah. Okay. What else we want to talk about? Want to talk about NPCs?
I was about to say, what shall we flip this pancake over onto a happier side?
We're doing the.
We're doing the compliment pancake.
We're doing the whole podcast compliment sandwich.
Exactly. Favorite characters.
Professor
Oliver. I mean, favorite character. Yeah, Professor
Kyle's
Oliver.
dad.
Or Kyle's dad when we met him for a bit.
That whole scene went so much because sometimes when I don't know because like a lot of the time when we know what's going to happen, like we can prepare sort of things we want to do with the role play, but that put me on the back foot, but it still went so well.
I put you on the back foot, but Kyle would have been on the back foot. Yeah. So it's like, it works. Like.
You also, why did you make him likeable, you asshole?
Because he is. He's just a simple fisherman.
You just hate him.
Because realistically,
Kyle's
you're the shitty child.
Yeah, I really like that bit. That was a lot of fun to do. That was a very spur of the moment thing. I literally planned to do that scene about an hour before we started playing. As I did with most of the campaign, I had a vague idea of what I was going to do, but I wrote the vast majority of it as I went along, which I think can show in places. But I love that scene.
To be honest, I love most of pretty much all the roleplay scenes we did. I thought I really enjoyed that. Like it was, like there were because like in D&D, listening back to it, like especially as we've started releasing it and everything, I'm listening back to it and I'm like, I wish I had done that roleplay scene better.
Yeah,
I wish I had gone a bit better. But like on this side of the table, being a player, there's not a single scene that I'm like I could have. There's not really any where I'm like, that could have gone better. I'm like, maybe we could. Okay, I'll say what I mean. There are parts where I'm like, that could have gone better, but I'm still happy with it. Yeah. Whereas in D&D, there are bits where like I'm unhappy with that scene, with how I roleplayed it. But there's not a single one where I'm like,
the side of the table you were on as well.
Yeah, it's probably an effect of the side of your table. When it's your story, you're probably more critical of it.
Yeah, I'm very much like that. There are so many roleplay scenes where I'm like, I didn't get the point across there, or they don't quite know what I mean. And
so there's not, like I can't think of a single roleplay scene where I'm like that went badly. I'm like, that was all really fun. I got stuff from it.
There were scenes that I felt were a bit awkward from my side, and a lot of it was after combats and stuff.
Especially after we had because when we finished the game and we had Summer. And then we went to do the Elite Four and the last two gyms in the Elite Four stuff. Yeah. I felt my roleplay after we came back was very stilted, but partially because I couldn't remember how I was playing the character very well, and we were sort of going straight back into it with big roleplay bits. Yeah. I felt I was very stilted at that point. I really didn't know what to do and what to say. Yeah. And I couldn't remember how exactly, because we were sort of supposed to be reacting to, I don't know, being famous now, and I knew that Carl would find that awkward, but I think I overdid that. Like, barely sort of said much in character.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar thing. I'm pretty sure Oliver's voice has changed more times than our Pokemon have leveled up. Like, like is because I had one at the beginning, and I'm just like, I just don't remember what it was. Yeah, like at all. I don't remember how to do it. I basically stole Kyle's voice for most of it, and then I was just like, I need to be different to that. So,
Well, you said Professor Alder. What did you like Professor Alder?
The voice.
He's just funny, and he's kind of like the way you roleplayed him is kind of sweet. Like he's just like, "Hello, children. How are you doing?"
I just
like
he was a really simple character.
Yeah, and it was sort of lovable. He really liked you guys, and in a kind of he's a good teacher kind of way. He was very proud of what you were. He was just very goofy.
I like it when we feel the same way about a character that the DM does. Like, you liked Professor Alder, and we were supposed to like Professor Alder, and I did like Professor Alder, and that felt like it fit very well. Like,
so
sometimes we have characters that, Stephen, you like Stephen, we're supposed to like Stephen,
but we don't.
These guys don't like Stephen as much, and that doesn't. Yeah, it's really funny, but it doesn't gel as well when we're all trying to roleplay and stuff. But like, it's still really funny.
Adding to that, it's quite weird because Oliver doesn't like Steven, but Henry does.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I need to. Yeah, we all know that both Nat and Robin, and I think anyone you ever play hates Steven. Mm-hmm. But like Henry likes. I like Steven, but Oliver doesn't, and I did find that quite hard to roleplay. Like that's probably
I enjoyed my dress sense. I liked that you enabled my dress sense.
So on like the us liking Professor Alder, there's a just like a quick aside to do with it. There's a thing that there's a YouTube channel called by a guy called Matt Colville that does lots of sort of theory of being a DM.
All right.
And he'll like answer questions. He does a series talking about what his campaign is doing and then his lessons learned during it.
All right, yeah.
So he'd be like, and then he like live streams their sessions and stuff and talks about afterwards like what he thought went well in that session and what he thinks he can learn and the audience can learn from it. But he does a series called Running the Game, and like it's basically like how do you make combat interesting? How do you roleplay characters? But he's done maybe like 50 episodes at this point. But he's done one that I've watched on memorable NPCs, because someone asked on the subreddit, how do you make NPCs memorable? And I think some of you might have watched Critical Role, but he uses them.
I know it. But...
Yeah, you know of it. He uses them as an example, and he's just like, the NPCs that people remember from Critical Role are the ones with really goofy voices, because they're the ones that the players instantly take a shining to, the ones that generally the characters take a shining to, and therefore the people listening do. So I feel like everyone's gonna like Professor Alder.
Yeah,
because that first,
it's hard not to.
Yeah, that first introduction of like, hello there, is just like, he's funny.
Yeah,
he's funny, and he's a nice, friendly character, so you instantly take a shining to him.
It's funny you would say that, actually, because the other character I really, really liked didn't say a fucking word at all.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah.
That's a given.
But that
Once again, that's quite a goofy character.
And that might just be because of the lore of all of it as well.
And he had a lot of personality because of that, almost.
Yeah.
Because he didn't say a lot, it was kind of an interesting thing about him.
It's the Gromit from Wallace and Gromit sort of situation where he has so much character and says nothing. Like,
yeah.
I feel like some of that character came from our characters being like,
Yes.
oh my god, Red.
Yeah, it was, and that's something when I put him in, I really wanted you guys to play into that, and you did. Like, thank God, you really did.
I ring Red.
Hello?
you somehow hear ... Good talk.
I must admit, one of my favourite moments of the campaign is his Pikachu turning up.
Oh, so good.
That's
like an inner kid thing, though. That's like,
it's
what you always wanted to happen at some point.
It's weird because Red has become one of those Pokemon characters that has just been the lore of this fucking amazingly powerful person. It's almost like, I don't know, if you're a massive DC fan, and then we were playing like some sort of superhero thing that had nothing to do with any of the characters, and suddenly Batman turned up.
Yeah.
I agree with Batman
and saved your
Superman.
ass.
We knew you weren't
I was going to say Superman, but then I was like, no, because you know, Batman.
I feel like your reaction in real life, if you were like in a world with superheroes, Superman turned up, you're like, oh, it's Superman. But if Batman turned up, you're like, fuck Batman.
He's real.
What have I done?
Don't hurt me.
You know me, I'm a big DC fan. I love Superman. I think he's great. I do like the comics of him and stuff, but
Batman.
he is a bit white bread. He's a bit boring, and Batman's more interesting. And Red is just he's something about him makes him more interesting than just the other, just like Steven, incredibly powerful Pokemon player. We all know that he's an incredibly powerful trainer. Somehow not as impressive as when Red turns up.
Yeah.
Probably because of how famous Red is.
And he is the original. Like, it always feels like he is the original Pokemon
the OG
master.
Pokemon trainer, and just being in his presence as he fights was cool.
Kind of the way to look at it is like Red versus Ash. Like, theoretically, they're not, but like, theoretically they're equivalent. If Ash turned up, you'd be like, oh, it's Ash. If Red turns up, you're like, shit.
Yeah. Ash is like, it'd be like, wow, okay, we're playing with Ash. This is really neat. I like this. But Red's cool. The guy Red is cool. Like Ash, I still know that he's that like asshole that got electrocuted by Pikachu several times and constantly trips over and makes this noise. That was very Link. But yeah. Yeah, red's cool.
So I think for me,
Power stats. No.
for me, the other main NPC who I am disappointed I didn't put more into him. I don't think he came across as well as he should have. Was Harris.
Picture guy.
Yes, because
The fact that I have to check.
Yeah.
He hit into the table.
Yeah, exactly. The only things
That's
you
all I
remember,
The only thing I remember is that we gave him pictures.
Yeah, gave him pictures. He hid under a table. Then he was the head of the Elite Four.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's a character that because originally he was going to be the champion. Because he was the one. Harris is the one that knew all about the Mistral region.
Yeah.
He's been the one that's grown up there, whereas a lot of other people have moved into the Mistral region because for there's reasons that your characters don't really know about how the Mistral region was formed, really, and what it was like before it was colonized by all these people and their techie stuff. And Harris was meant to be the last remaining person of that old Mistral, which you guys don't really know much about. But so he was kind of, I think it's partly my fault for that. I should have put more story into Harris to make him a more likable NPC and more important to you guys, so you felt more about him.
I think the end where he ended up as head of Elite Four rather than champion fit him better, because the Elite Four in the games, they're not always characters you know. Yeah. But the champion's always special. I think the person you chose for the champion was really, really good. Yeah. I thought it was clever.
In terms of like Harris, I did feel it was just like, oh, we'll give him a letter. It's like, I'll go give it to Harris. We gave him a letter with some pictures in it. And that's kind of the only interaction we really had with him. I know he hid under a table apparently at one point. I don't remember when.
Was he the headmaster?
No,
that's
Stephen.
That was Stephen.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it was.
We just spoke about him.
Sorry.
That's why he tortured us.
Sorry.
But yeah, he was always.
I do remember.
I promise, I remember.
I do remember.
So the bit about Harris at the end, which was actually a lot of it was put in to try and win Harris back over for you guys, was him saying that he was going to write this book.
I did like that.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
So he was meant to be like the patriotic person to the Mistral region. This is his baby, and he wanted to write a story about.
He discovered it.
He didn't discover it.
He just lived there for a while.
For the longest out of anyone, because I remember that from the recent
He's like
stuff.
the indigenous peoples of the Mistral region. But there's only one of him, apparently.
Yeah.
Cool.
There is more story to be told, and that will explore
Harris lived there alone for years and years and years, and people turned up, and he was like, "Welcome to the Mistral region," and they were like, "Are there anyone else?" And he was like, "No, it's just me." But look, I have 2 legendary Pokemon. And they were like, "Why are you the only one here?" Just like, I killed them.
I don't know.
I just got here, and then like kick some dirt over the skulls next to him.
What do you mean the shovel with all the graveyards? That was there before I got here.
It's just like, is there anyone else? He's like, oh, my friend Professor Alder. Hello! And he emerges from a bush.
So yeah,
I've been waiting for you.
So Harris is one of my biggest regrets from the campaign, I think. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
I really liked your twist.
The twist?
Which might have been obvious to other people. But I didn't see it coming that Xavier was being controlled.
Do you know why? No,
I didn't either.
I do not think it will be obvious to anybody at all, because I did not decide about the twist until about an hour before we played again.
I think, but looking back on it, like there was
makes
mind
sense.
control happening. There was like, because it was like even up to the police were being mind controlled by the bad guys and all this sort of stuff. There was mind control going on. We spoke about the fact that her uncle had mind control powers over sort of Pokemon and sometimes people. Like it makes sense. Like there was setup for it, even if you didn't intend it.
I think so. That I did intend all of that. The point where I think there was a point when I realised Xavier is not really doing enough for me to be bad. I can't quite place his motives.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand why he was doing it. So then for me that was kind of like, oh no, shit, I can make a reason now why his motives don't really make sense, but he's doing what he's doing. So it was kind of a a patch-up job with that. But I think it did come across well.
I think sometimes when like things do that, like it's kind of like, oh right, so this bad guy that we've grown to know isn't the bad guy now, and now we've just got this other guy.
Yeah.
Maybe some people would feel that way, but I don't think we did at all, because we sort of had that, because it was a person related to one of our characters.
Yeah.
We had that sort of personal connection to it that made it, oh shit, actually this is a better bad guy, because now we're against someone that matters rather than someone that doesn't.
It's kind of the Star Wars philosophy when you've got Darth Vader's the bad guy, Darth Vader's the bad guy, Darth Vader's the bad guy. Oh no, wait, there's someone so much worth, and Darth Vader can actually be turned and he can be the good guy. You know, like it's inadvertently...
Kicking the Emperor.
Yeah, exactly. So...
I like that. It's cool. And I didn't see it coming, and I was just like, but then when you revealed it, it was like, it does make sense.
Yeah,
like, I get that he doesn't really have his own personal motivation, whereas Jafar does, and he could do that, so...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Victory Road?
Yes.
Can I ask one question for all of you?
Okay.
Before we do. Short and sweet. What was your favourite random gym Pokemon that turned up?
Shuckle.
Fuck, I was going to say Shuckle.
Shuckle. That motherfucker. All the Fire Camel.
I was about to say the Fire Camel.
I think that's because they're the two that we just couldn't kill.
Memorable.
They're the two that was just like this fucking Shuckle, and there's an episode called fucking Fire Camel, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we don't know what we're naming it.
I got a big amount of enjoyment from the... Yeah, fucking Fire Camel was recorded at the same time that fucking Trees was.
Yeah,
so those two episodes are both called
I'm pretty sure they were recorded on the same night. Because
they were.
That's why you were extra frustrated with the trees. Like, we just killed this fucking camel, and there's all these fucking trees.
But it's the... I really also got a lot of enjoyment out of Blissey. Because I was just like, what?
When it's just like, Kamehameha egg!
Yeah, I know. I quite liked... who did I like? I remember Kecleon. Kecleon was the first gym. I quite liked
really
Kecleon.
Interesting to have in a gym
Just
battle,
because of its type changing thing was quite interesting.
My favourite Pokemon that you
Ditto?
guys fought was when you guys faced the Ditto.
The
Did we
Ditto! Yeah!
There were 3 Dittos.
Oh, the 3 Dittos.
In Victory Road. Right.
Ankron versus Ankron.
Yeah, absolutely. Shall we
segue
address
on,
the elephant in the room?
What? Where?
About Victory Road.
This is the second elephant in the room.
It is the second elephant in the room, but...
How big is this room?
Massive.
So what did happen? What happened in Victory Road?
Just a normal Victory
Give me
Road.
Yeah, there we go.
Just a normal Victory Road. Same as you'd expect.
Kinky things.
So originally my idea for Victory Road was to just do it like the games, and that you go through and you fight during and stuff. But it didn't. It seemed a bit boring to me, so I wanted to do something a little bit more and maybe set some stuff up for the future for what we as a podcast want to do. So did the whole thing, and pretty much it's going to be us alluding to something that's coming up very soon, and we just wanted to do something really special for you guys because we're so happy that you have listened to this, and if you listen to D&D, listen to Star Wars, listen to Pokemon, we're so glad that you've been here listening. So
this would be really funny if we've only got 2 viewers, but we love
No. Look, Mum, thank you.
So we wanted to do something to say thank you to all of you guys.
It's gonna be big.
It's gonna be big, and we really hope it works
like
out.
Aggron.
And for those, we're setting it up in Pokemon, but if you didn't really like Pokemon, it's not Pokemon.
Yeah, we are never, I repeat, never playing Pokemon again.
Ever.
Pokemon Tabletop United.
Specifically as well, that's going in the bin.
I'm going to print out a copy of the rules and burn them.
But we like it. We respect the guy who made it.
Respect the guy that made it.
Respect the guy who made it.
Respect the guy, please don't say
Look, if you're listening and you're the dude that made it, well done, you're great. But I fucking hate playing it. Like,
For us
personally, because we don't hate you, we hate ourselves.
For not understanding
It's
it.
not like it's even bad. I know what the analogy is. You know when you drink vodka with Coke for long enough, Coke starts to taste like vodka? Coke's still good. It's still good, but it still tastes like vodka.
Yeah.
We're bitter because of our experience.
What I'm telling you is, whoever you are, your system tastes like vodka.
For the soul.
And
we're now hungover.
It's much easier to cope with when I'm drunk.
So if you really enjoyed the characters...
No, I've got an analogy. It's like, when everyone's had
nailed this. Okay.
Everyone's had like the one really, really bad night out with one type of alcohol.
Yes.
That you just can never touch again. Mine's amaretto. Don't ask me why. I don't know how. It's amaretto.
Mine's Sambuca.
I can't do it. So I've got amaretto. It's like you just always,
wine,
every time you smell it or think of it, you just feel horrifically ill.
Yeah.
So
and really
PTU
bad.
makes us ill.
Yeah.
You just makes you feel uncomfortable and you don't ever want to go near it again.
Physically vomit.
So if you're like us and you'd rather not play or hear any PTU ever again, then don't worry.
It's not.
But if you really like the Pokemon characters, then also don't worry.
We're doing something with them.
To them. For them.
Yeah.
And this has been Let's Try Roleplay Under the Covers. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you probably next Sunday, if we're still releasing on Sundays.
See you in your bed.
Henry, can you
Derek.
please take your hand off my dick?
No.